Hey kids, gather around because I have an exciting story to share with you today. Have you ever heard the story about the donkey and the sponge? It's a tale full of surprises and valuable lessons. Well, buckle up because this tale might just surprise you. It's not just any ordinary story, it's one that will make you think and laugh. Once upon a time, there was a hard-working merchant who had a loyal donkey. This donkey was his trusted companion on many journeys. Every day, the merchant would load his donkey with heavy bags of salt and set off toward the market to sell his goods. The journey was long and tiring, but the merchant and his donkey were determined. One day, as they were crossing a river, something unexpected happened. The river was shallow, but the current was strong. The donkey stumbled and fell right into the water. Guess what? The bags of salt he was carrying got soaked. The salt dissolved in the water, making the load much lighter. The donkey, who had been struggling under the weight, suddenly felt a great sense of relief. The donkey felt so relieved. He happily stood up, shook off the water, and continued the journey with ease, feeling much lighter than before. He trotted along the path with a spring in his step, enjoying the newfound lightness of his load. But this experience got him thinking. This donkey wasn't just any donkey, he was a bit lazy and quite clever. He thought to himself, hey, if I fall into the river every time, my load will always get lighter. So the next few times they crossed a river, the donkey deliberately fell into the water. He thought he had found the perfect solution to his heavy burden. Each time, the salt dissolved and the donkey's load got lighter. He was quite pleased with himself and his clever little trick. The donkey thought he had outsmarted everyone, but little did he know. The merchant was watching him closely. The merchant, however, wasn't fooled for long. He noticed the donkey's little trick and decided it was time to teach him a lesson. He observed the donkey's actions with a knowing look and came up with a plan to outsmart the clever but lazy donkey. So he decided to teach the donkey a lesson. The next morning, instead of loading the donkey with salt, the merchant packed his bags full of sponges. The merchant carefully packed the sponges into the bags, making sure they were secure. The donkey, unaware of the change, thought it was just another day. The donkey, thinking he was clever, fell into the river on purpose once again. He expected the same result as before, but this time something different happened. The sponges soaked up the water and became super heavy. The donkey struggled and struggled under the weight. The sponges were much heavier than the salt ever was, and the donkey found it incredibly difficult to move. The donkey strained and strained, but the load was just too heavy. He realized that his clever trick had backfired. It was way heavier than the salt ever was. The donkey had never felt such a burden before and regretted his actions. In that moment, the donkey realized his mistake. He understood that trying to take shortcuts and being lazy often leads to bigger problems. Tricks don't always work, and being lazy often leads to trouble. The donkey learned a valuable lesson that day. So kids, what's the lesson here? It's important to be honest and hard-working, and not to rely on tricks to get by. Cleverness without wisdom can lead to one's downfall. Always think about the consequences of your actions. Always be honest and hard-working. Helping each other and doing your best is the right way to go. That's the best way to go. When you work hard and stay honest, good things will come your way. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay curious and kind. See you next time. Keep learning and growing, and always strive to be the best version of yourself.